I always trusted my inner voice, until it killed someone. They say only 30 to 50% of people have an inner monologue, that half the world walks around with nothing but silence in their skulls. Empty. Quiet. I pity them. My inner voice isn't just some background noise, it's everything. It's sharper than my instincts, smarter than my decisions. It's the reason I've gotten this far in life. The quiet ones? They're animals. Reacting, not thinking. Me? I'm a symphony. Always in motion, always calculating. I love it. I love me. That's what I was thinking as I tied up my skates that day. The rink was alive with noise. Blades scraping, laughter bouncing off the boards, cold air licking my skin. I was there with Hannah, this girl I'd been seeing for a few weeks. She was sweet, steady on her feet, better on the ice than me, but too kind to show it. My voice kept pace with every moment. Don't trip. Smile when she talks. Hold her hand, but let her lead the rhythm. It's like having a coach and a confidant rolled into one. Who needs God when you've got your own mind? And then it happened. A stray kid tore across the ice, cutting too close, and I stumbled to dodge it. My legs went out from under me, my head snapping against the frozen floor like a broken spring. For a moment, there was only impact, sharp and hot. Then, silence. Not just around me, but inside. When I came back to myself, Hannah was helping me to my feet, asking if I was okay. I nodded and the voice returned, but it wasn't the same. "Get up, you useless prick," it said. I froze. My voice, didn't talk like that. It never had. It had always been calm, measured. Not this barking, snarling thing. I wanted to brush it off, blame the fall, but the words stuck to me like tar. I skated the rest of the evening in a fog, the voice muttering in the back of my skull. Cruel things. Ugly things. "You're boring her. Say something or she'll leave. Not that it matters. She's out of your league anyway." When I argued back, it laughed. Not a kind laugh, a raw, raspy one. Over the next few days, the voice grew louder. It stopped offering advice and started barking orders. My body and brain felt like a house with a new tenant, a violent, unwelcome one. Standing in line at the deli, it whispered in my mind, "Take the knife from the counter. Hold it. Feel its weight." While walking down the street, it suggested, "Push that man into traffic. See what happens." I didn't obey, but I couldn't ignore it. Every time I refused, it grew angrier. "You're pathetic. A worm. A waste of flesh." I decided to see a doctor. Hannah suggested it after I told her I'd been off since the fall. I didn't tell her about the voice, just enough to make it seem like I wasn't losing my mind. The voice hated the idea. "You think they'll help you? You think pills or therapy will make me go away? I'm not going anywhere, you fucking idiot. I'm you." I kept the appointment. I had to. But on the day, as I walked to the clinic, the voice became relentless. Screaming now, its words twisting in my head like jagged metal. "Turn around. Don't do this. If you walk in there, I'll make you pay." I pushed on, teeth gritted until I reached the street outside the office. I saw the doctor through the window, her waiting room calm and sterile. For a moment, I thought I'd made it, that I could finally get this thing out of me. Then the voice snapped. "If you won't listen, I'll find another way." Suddenly, my body wasn't mine. I felt my feet moving, my hands reaching. There was a man passing by, an older guy with a briefcase and a distracted look on his face. The voice roared. My hands latched onto his throat. His eyes went wide, bloodshot, panicked. I felt the cartilage in his neck shift under my grip, a primal sickening crunch. The body hit the pavement with a dull thud. For a moment, everything was still. And then the voice chuckled, low and satisfied. "Good boy. That's more like it." Sirens wailed in the distance. I didn't run. I couldn't. The voice wasn't worried. It whispered, soft and smug. "I told you. You can't get rid of me. Now we'll have plenty of time together. Just you, me, and a cage. Doesn't that sound cozy?" And that was I Always Trusted My Inner Voice Until It Killed Someone by Simon 1ill87. Editor Nathan here. So it's probably actually pronounced Simon O'Neill 187. Ya doofus. So the story's nice. It's really good. It immediately makes me think of the movie Split, even though that doesn't really have like one inner voice that kind of changes. Although I suppose it is kind of similar in a way because it's like a dissociative identity disorder is what I believe is goes on, especially in Split. And it feels like that's kind of happening here. It's almost like a new identity has formed, really. Besides, it's this horrible idea of that there's more than one person inside of you, right? And that at any moment they could perhaps take control, which I think is kind of where that real fear comes into play, right? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of those people who does have an inner monologue. Now, I do know it's me. I know it's me doing the monologue. It's very obvious. I can hear it in my own voice. I can change the voice if I want. Sometimes I'll pretend to make it other characters that I've heard in like TV shows and stuff like that. I'm sure tons of us do it that have an inner monologue. And I usually use it to just kind of like analyze situations, reinforce certain ideas in my head, and try to just analyze situations from a certain standpoint. And I've always found it to be really useful. I've never found it to be twisted and weird because I know it's me doing it, right? I'm very conscious that it is my own monologue that I am creating of my own. It's basically just like you're talking inside your head. Literally, that's it. For those of you who don't have it, which does make me super curious. Down in the comments below, let me know if you don't have an inner monologue. I'm very curious about that. Or if you do have an inner monologue, let me know what kind of like, do you give it a voice sometimes? You like pretend you're talking with other people? It's really interesting, right? There's a lot of creativity that comes with it. I suppose it's part of the imagination aspect of that, and I've really enjoyed that myself. But yeah, getting back to the story. So what I like about this is that it's a weird development, right? So clearly it's like when they hit their head, that's when this change happened. But is it just like a part of them as further taking control, like it's further been unlocked because of this? I mean, I imagine maybe not concussion has happened, but something has happened in their brain because of this collision, this hit on the head. And it's just so interesting that this is what's come about it, and yet at the end, I mean, they're not even controlling their own body, right? So was it something laying dormant in him the entire time? Because it's not like I can't imagine it's a spirit or a ghost or something like that. It's just been hiding out in his body and now decided to make an appearance. That's just kind of weird, right? So it makes you think maybe there was a parasite in his head or something. Maybe it just needed a little bit of wiggling through. Maybe he's always had this ulterior personality that has now been able to be brought to the forefront because of this impact. I don't know. There's a lot of ideas behind it, a lot of theories. I think it's really interesting. I think it's really, really interesting. I really enjoyed the story. If there is going to be more of this, I would like to kind of see where it could go, but I would totally understand if it's just a one-off. I totally understand that. Sometimes that's the best way to have a story, if you ask me. I've really enjoyed this. I sure hope you have too. I've been Nate at Night. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd really like to engage in conversation about these kind of things. And thanks again, Simon1ill87, for this opportunity. We'll see you guys for whatever's next. Take care out there. Thank you to the YouTube and Patreon members who've been supporting this channel so far. This has been a fantastic effort. Thank you so much. I couldn't do any of this without your support. Really, I really can't. Thank you. You can also show support through a donation at coffee.com/nateatnight, or whenever I'm live streaming through super chats of YouTube or through Twitch. And whenever you donate, I'll be sure to read your messages out on stream.